you want me to just kick it off?
I'd just like to welcome everyone today. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for making the time to join this second Digital Clubs Becoming Media Savvy learning activity. We're really thrilled to see you all and looking forward to some great discussion, topical discussion this afternoon. Over to you, Jim.
Well, thank you very much, Sophie. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us. I know it is just at the end of most of our days. We're so grateful to have a chance to share what we are calling Becoming Media Savvy. And my name's Jim. I am will be joining you today along with my good friend, Mr. Ken Shelton, who I sound like I'm from the United States, but Ken is actually in the United States. Hey, Ken, how are you?
I am good, thank you. It is a pleasure to be here and to see many of you, and I'm looking forward to our time together. This will be a good one.
Yeah,
I did put in the
I'm
chat.
Excited.
Well, real quick, I did put in the chat. I asked a question for all of you if you like coffee, because I will reveal something about Jim and myself. Both of us we love coffee, and I've always wanted to get a small batch of coffee from one of the farms in the Eastern Highlands, because that's where you get the elevation.
Oh, I love it. We could all use a little coffee. We can't. Good. Well, hopefully that we can one of these days we'll make it out there. We'll go visit. We'll go visit everyone together. Well, I am. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm a former television guy. I used to work in TV, and then I was a high school teacher. I was a secondary teacher in the United States, and now I live here in Australia. And one of the things we really feel like it's important to do is just acknowledge the traditional custodians of the lands that we live on. I live here in a little area outside of Melbourne called Warrandyte. And it is the traditional lands of the Wurundjeri people. And that's the Birrong River that floats around, called the Yarra River down here. And I live, work, and play on the traditional lands of the Wurundjeri people. And I know many of you are joining us from different parts of the world. And it's just important to take a moment to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the lands that you live, work, and play on. It's a beautiful country out here. And as an American living in Australia, the one thing I always get from this part of the world is not just beauty, but also kookaburras. Have you ever heard a kookaburra sing or laugh? It's pretty amazing. So we're here together to really talk about becoming media aware, learning media literacy. You've probably heard that term before. It's in a lot of our books and the things that we do and learn and teach. But really the point of this whole exercise is for you to eventually be able to teach other students in your school about how to properly evaluate the media that we see, read, and share for truth. You know, it's because there's a lot of things out there on the internet that maybe aren't as truthful as they should be. So this whole series of workshops, Digital Clubs, is around helping you become more aware of the things that we see on television, in print, but more importantly, online, from our phones and all that. So that's really the objective of our time together. So hopefully that's interesting to you. There's a lot for us to do and share around here with this program, with this project. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and just share a few of the resources that you have available to you as part of this. One of them is a Google Classroom. So we've created Google Classroom. I think a few of you know, maybe all of you know Google Classroom. And we want you to be able to join this Google Classroom with us. And so we'll go ahead and put a link in the chat that takes you directly to the invitation code for Google Classroom. We'll probably also share this with your teachers so that they can help you get on there as well. So you can nominate a captain, a keyboard captain, to join that Google Classroom, or you can join it yourselves if you have a Google account at your school and you want to jump in. Google Classroom is going to be a place where we share a lot of the work that we're doing. we have a lot of resources for you to learn on your own, or learn to or have resources for the projects that you'll be working on. One of them is this printable workbook. So we have a digital club student workbook, and I'll put that link in the chat as well. That workbook will be useful to you. You can print it off. I'm just going to type it in here, workbook, and you can.
I got it, Jim. Jim, you go ahead. I'll drop the links.
Thank you. You can put that. You can print off that Google workbook. I'm sorry, that student workbook for yourselves, and then work through some of the exercises that are in there. So feel free to do that. Okay. But if you get into Google Classroom, you don't need to print it off. If you have a strong internet connection and you really just want to take a look, we have vocabulary terms for you to know, to be able to use while you're surfing the internet. But then we also have what we call think about it. So these documents will help you think about some of the things we're talking about here, like how to be a responsible consumer of information. Consumer is like, we get online and we're eating all this data, we're looking at all these things. That's what we call consuming information. And so we have lots of resources for you to be able to explore as a group or on your own. Okay. So really great stuff that Ken and I have put together for you that we think will be important. Here underneath this session 1, we're recording this. You probably see it up in the corner. So we'll put the recording of this this workshop here inside of Google Classroom, so you can come back to it later. Okay. And then we have our project information if you want to get a head start of what that project looks like. And then we also have information on our final project, and we'll talk about that final project more next week. Okay. If you know Google Classroom, there's this area up here on the left called the stream. And the stream is where we chat with you. We can connect with you. And we've got a few things that we're ready to key up and share with you here in the next few days. This is a place for you to look at the things that we're putting here, and then also comment back. Like, what did you see? What do you know? What else do you want to share about that? So we call this area our learning comments. It's a place for us to be able to share extra resources for you to become more media savvy, more media aware. All right. Some questions in there. Any other questions happening out there, Ken, that we should be aware of about as we get started here?
Go ahead and get started. I'm helping Sareem solve a sound problem at the moment, which hopefully we can get it solved. For some reason, Sareem is not able to hear us. So, okay. You go ahead. I'll help out. I'll help out, Sareem. Don't worry.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Ken. So there's take a look up above in the chat where you can see the link there for how to join the Google Classroom. So hopefully you'll have a chance. You don't have to do it now, but you can have a chance as we move forward. We'll be putting links and more information into this chat. So hopefully you've nominated a keyboard captain to be able to grab those links, open them up so you can take a look at them on your own screens. All right. We're going to get started with a little activity. We're going to show you a video. We're very interested. So some of you teachers have seen this video or parts of this video. So mum's the word. And what we want to do is take a look at this next video. So we're going to take a look at a YouTube video. I'm going to drop that link into the chat. And then here it is. This YouTube video, you're welcome to go ahead and take a look at. I'm going to go ahead and play it up on the screen as well. And so that way you can watch it from here. Okay, so let's just take a look at this video. I might, you know what I might do? I might share it in a different way. So let me do this really quickly. Stop sharing and then come back and share this tab. There, like this. All right, let's take a look at a video. We're just really interested to hear what you think about it. Ready? wet.
Jim,
Jim, you're muted.
Oh, yeah.
No wonder nobody heard me. How many people saw the bear? Raise your hand if you saw a bear in that video. Okay, it's a few of you. Okay, so let's take a look. This is a video that's been around for a few years. Let me just click through it one more time. And it's called Snowboarder Girl Chased by Bear. I was singing Rihanna Work and didn't know it was behind me. That's the name of this video. And we put the video link in the chat. It's just above it. So if you want to take a minute or so to watch some of it again, feel free. What we're looking for you to do is identify a few things about this video. And we're going to use a Jamboard. We're going to use a Jamboard. So we need your keyboard, Captain, there to help out. And so a Jamboard is a place that we use to write our responses, right? So here, I'm just going to type it in here. Jamboard link is here. And that's the link to the Jamboard. And we're going to go ahead and give you a few minutes to play around. Maybe if you need to watch the video again, but what we're looking for you to do is tell us what you think what made you think this video was real, and what made you think this video might be fake. Okay, what parts of this video made you think it might be real, and what parts might be fake? So I'm just going to open up a new tab really quickly and pop this in there. And then here is the Jamboard. This is what it looks like. And what we want you to do, oops, you can't see that. Let me open up a different window. Here we go. Let me share my window, the whole window now, so you can see it all. There we go. This is what the Jamboard looks like here. And what we want you to do is just grab a little sticky note. It looks like this thing here. Grab that and then type in, I saw the bear, right? I think it's real because I saw a bear, right? And it's so you can just pop this here just like this. What makes you think it's real? And then maybe you grab another link here and like maybe use a different color if you want. What makes you think it was fake? You know, I'm not sure. I'm just going to maybe let you think about what you might think is fake. All right, everybody got that? What do you think made that video look real? What made you think it was fake, and if at all? And so click on that Jamboard when you get a moment, and we'll do that. And I'm going to give you a couple minutes right now to think about it, or at least to kind of chat with your neighbors about it. All right, chat with your folks there. What parts of that video made you think it was real, and what made you think it was fake? If you're not using the Jamboard, don't worry. You can just put it in the chat as well. So thanks everybody for going in there. Take a look at this. I tell you what, I might put it up on the screen. We've got a lot of responses. This is good. So we see some responses here. Like I said, I saw the bear. Some people are saying that she's skateboarding, snowboarding. They think it's real because it looks like it's snowy. That's good. It's in the background. We think the video is fake because the camera didn't capture the girl's feet when she was skating or snowboarding. Yeah, there you go. The weather conditions were on point for some of the surroundings she was in, and her hair was flowing, so it made it look like it was real. Did anybody hear the bear? Could you hear the bear? Oh, yeah. It might not have been too loud for you on your end, but if you watch the video on YouTube, you can actually hear the bear. Somebody's saying that bear would have attacked her. If it was real, the bear would have attacked her, right? The video does not show the bear chasing the girl. This video is fake. Somebody's saying in the chat. It's such a coincidence when she was just there, the bear didn't bother her while she was getting ready. That's something I hadn't thought about. Anybody know what happens to bears in the winter? What do bears do in the winter? Some people may have thought about it. Yeah. most bears sleep during the winter, right? So that's weird that a bear is out there. You kind of have to know a little bit about bears, I suppose. Ken has added a link to what bears do in the winter. Thanks, Ken. So it's interesting, right? This video is interesting for a lot of reasons because it could be real, right? Like a lot of us think, oh, if I'm going to go to the mountains and go snowboarding, I just don't want to be eaten by a bear. That's like a fear of mine. I'm afraid of that. Whereas maybe the bear isn't real because like it's winter and bears sleep during the winter. This video, I'm going to tell you, is fake. This video is fake. This actually video comes from a company here in Melbourne that made a whole bunch of fake videos, and for about 2 or 3 years, people shared them around. It was in the news, and everybody was talking about how these big things that these videos were from were so real. These videos went viral. Right? Does anybody know do you remember what it means to be viral? What does it mean to be viral? What happens when a video goes viral? What do you think that means? You can talk about it with your friends there. Yeah, that's a great phrase. Accidental fame, right? It became famous almost by accident. Well, these videos that these people did, it wasn't by accident. They did it on purpose. They made them go viral using techniques that people use. So we have created a document called the Think About It, and we added it to the Google Classroom, and it's in here called "What Makes a Video Go Viral." And this document will talk to you about that video and a couple other videos and why and how that company made these videos go viral. And you know what the biggest one was? The biggest thing for the videos to go viral is that people argued that it was real and they argued that it was fake everywhere. They put it on Twitter, they argued about it. They put it on YouTube, they argued about it. They put it on the news, they argued about it. And as people start, this company knew that if you argue about something online, it makes it go viral. It makes more and more people watch that video. And that video gets shared around and shared around again until millions of people have seen it. And it's really interesting because I tell you what I'll do is I'll put this up in the window. When you look at this video from, don't worry about this ad. This video was seen 14.5 million times. So do you know what that means? If your video has been seen that much, does anybody know what happens when your video gets seen by that many people? Somebody makes a lot of money. Somebody makes you get money. That's exactly what happens. If your video goes viral, you make a lot of money. And it's and that is exactly why they made it. Okay? So we need to understand that about these videos is that these videos go when they become viral, the folks make money. And yeah, money, there you go, Ken, and fame, infamous, right? You sometimes become infamous as opposed to famous, right? Which just means you might be known to be famous for the wrong reasons. So just be thinking about that. We just wanted you to start off by looking at a video to see what you can find about it. And of course, you might be very interested in that. Think about it. And especially as a teacher, you might be interested in talking to your class about these questions. Why do you think these videos went viral? What caused you to believe it? And what do you think is snackable content, right? So we think there's lots of good stuff in there for you to be able to use and play around with. Yeah, that's good. So hopefully you're learning some things already. You're starting to look for some things out there online. Ken, I'm going to kick it over to you. Let's talk about what is news? What is information in news online? Might take this off of screen share as well.
Yeah, no, leave that on for a second. Go back and share. because I want everybody, I want to use this as a segue into what we are going to discuss right now. So if you all saw this video, go to the, are you in full screen? Go out of full screen.
Okay. Maybe let me go to this one. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. And then go show more down there in the lower left, and then scroll down. You don't need to play the video. See where it says show more? This was at Hakuba 47 in Japan from yesterday.
Thank you right there.
Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Okay, so here's a couple of things to share with all of you around this, and it will lead into the questions that I'm going to ask you all to discuss, and then share your thoughts in the chat. Is there anything that, if you didn't know anything about bears, you didn't know anything about snowboarding, and you didn't know anything about Rihanna, is there anything even in this where Jim clicked on show more that would lead you to say, something still doesn't seem right?
Yeah, before we had this, and it just looks like somebody's talking about this, and then down here.
So Chase put in the chat, directed by. There's one big clue. Yes.
It's good, Chase. That's good. Yeah. Yeah. What's a director? That's the person who tells you where the camera should go, right?
Yeah. Directed, produced. You all see, they even put a find out more. Do you all see that?
Right here.
No, not there. Go up more. Right above directed by.
Oh yeah.
There's your clue. And that's why, there you go, what Jim just asked the question. Look at the web address, thewoolshedcompany.com/virals.
Yeah.
So that leads
nobody
to
clicks that, right? Nobody clicks that, right?
Now, of course, they could always not put that there in the description on the YouTube video, but the whole point, as Suhas mentioned, and Suhas, if I'm not saying your name correctly, please correct me. It's to get money and fame. So I'm going to put leave the equivalent of breadcrumbs. I'm going to leave something that you go, oh, this is viral. This is cool. Let me go and look at the next thing. That's why they put that stuff there. So the question I have for you all is the following. When you think about that video, how many of you have ever watched something on your mobile device, on your mobile phone, or on anything? You've watched it, just like what Jim showed. And Suhas, okay, I'm the first person to say your name right the first time. Thank you. That makes me feel good. So when you all have any of you ever watched a video similar to what Jim just showed, and you don't start asking the questions that he just asked? Has that happened to anybody? If your camera's on, you can just raise your hand, yes, and otherwise you can put in the chat.
Ask it again, Ken. Ask it again.
Okay, so I'll put the question in the chat to make it even easier. Have you ever watched a video or viewed an image similar to what Jim just shared and believe true the first time? There.
Yeah, without asking questions, right? You believe it right away. You don't even ask questions about it.
Yeah, without asking any of those questions that Jim shared.
I think there's a few people out there. Yeah, there you go. Thanks, Betty. Betty's saying,
yep. Suhas said every day. Chase said all the time. Yes. Irene, many times. Moksh or Moksh? Is it M-O, Mo or Ma? And feel free to correct me. Sylvia says all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's the thing about that. We laugh and we think it's funny, but here's why we're together. those videos and those pictures, they affect people for real. And we will discuss later the different type of information that gets shared, because in some cases, what might be funny, oh, I got it right. I'm 2 for 2 at name pronunciation. Yay. The reason why I'm mentioning that is we may think it's funny, but I will share with you all, and maybe later I can share with you all examples here in the United States. Sometimes those things that are fake can cause real harm to people. And so then that leads to the next thing that I wanted to share with you all is the following. Where do you get your information or your news from? You all can talk together and then feel free to share it in the chat. Where do you get your new information or news from? Sareem, isn't that correct? Sareem Mahmood. So now I'm 3 for 3. Oh, close enough. Okay. Okay, so Sylvia, Facebook videos, Akshanth, social media, Suhas, Instagram and national news, Chase, social media. And so, and why do we go to the news? We want to be informed about things, right? Whether it be the weather or, you know, anything that keeps me informed. So I either know about something or I'm safe from something. So now here's a question. Here's the next one for you all. This is great. And this is why we are here together. ABC is the national broadcast channel for there in Australia. So, you know, here in the United States, we have ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox News, CNN. We have a lot. All right. And then we also have all the social medias. Suhas, why so many? So I'll give you two answers. One is the number of people that view things on their television or on their mobile device. You need more outlets because there's more people viewing, so they want more eyes. And two, the easiest thing is capitalism. I can start a business where I know if I get people to watch things that I put on, that I broadcast, that I could sell advertising, which means I can make more money and get more people to watch. As Jim put, money. So here's the next thing. And by the way, many of those news outlets here in the US, and I think it's probably the same for all of you, they also have social media feeds as well. So you have the telly, and then you also have your mobile device. Here's a question that's important for all of us to consider.
Ken, can I just share quickly that when I worked in the television business, I made commercials for the TV news channel. And what happened is that when we make news, there's opportunity to make money selling commercials. And so that's why there's a lot of TV stations like that here in Australia and certainly in the United States.
So from Vanimo Secondary School, what happens if there's only one media outlet? Manipulation, dissemination of information to sway people's thinking, no balance, and one centralized perspective. And so that's why I have the question in there, and then we'll shift over to Jim in a few minutes. Actually, we need to do the image. We'll shift to Jim in just a minute. How do you determine if your sources are believable? So all the different sources you all shared, how do you determine whether or not they're believable?
Yeah, that's a really good way to do it. We actually have, if you look in the vocabulary document, there's some information in there about, we call it lateral reading. So when you're watching one source talk about the news, and then you pull out your phone and you double check it. you go and you maybe do a search for another thing and you look around. That's called lateral reading. So it's like, okay, I'm reading this here, but while that's playing, I should just double check that. I want to make sure that that's actually real. And I'm sure a lot of you are already doing that, aren't you? Yes, Sylvia is saying, Google it if it's real or not. See if it's actually been something that's been out there. Yeah, good one.
All right, Jim, let's shift to the image.
Oh, yeah, Ken, that's Snopes. That's a good share. Snopes, is it Snopes.com? Is that what it is? It's Snopes.com. I love that website.
Stand by.
All right, so let's take a look at this image. Let's take a look at this picture right here. What do you think about this picture? And then so just to give you some background about this picture, it's essentially this image was taken, shared with me as from National Geographic. And National Geographic, these are the National Geographic photographers who were outside taking a picture of, you know, whatever it must have been, and then a bear showed up. And this is the result of that. So take a look at this picture and tell us in the chat what you think about it. What do you think is going on in this picture? Or what do you think, is it real? Is it fake? Is it, what do you think is happening? Or what do you think you're seeing in this picture? All right, I think, we give you another minute? Let me just double check. I think we can give you another minute in this. What do you think is happening in this picture? I think I do have a counter.
I like Brett's comment. The dude at the back is in real trouble. Yeah, they're definitely yeah, you don't, in a situation like this, the slowest person loses, right? It's if you're the slowest person, you don't want to trip. Okay, good. Serene is looking at some things here. Okay, I have to share with everybody a quick joke. When I've gone out with friends out in the outdoors like that, if there are bears around and someone says, you need to be able to run faster than a bear, I always respond saying, no, I don't. I just need to be able to run faster than you.
Yeah, there's a lot of bear stuff happening today in today's workshop. Today, a lot of bears. All right, we'll give it a couple more seconds. Feel free to share in what you're thinking or what you're saying there in the room. What are you thinking about this picture?
I love what Akshanth and Serene put. Serene, you put the lighting is off. Where do you see the lighting off?
Okay. Oh yeah, somebody's saying the guy somebody's laughing while being chased by a bear. I'm not sure. Yeah, you would be too scared if you're laughing, but maybe, who knows? We all respond to fear differently, don't we? That's good. Yeah, you wouldn't think about saving. A camera could be very expensive. It could be a very expensive camera.
Yeah, it could be expensive equipment.
It's good. You know what's good? You know what's good about this, Ken, is that people are looking at this image not just for what it's like the whole picture, but little pieces of it,
context,
right? That's like reading a book or reading a chapter and looking at the meaning of each of the sentences, as opposed to the whole page or the whole chapter or the whole paragraph.
And let me add, because some of you mentioned it before, you would confirm it from other sources. Remember, I shared, so you see this, I shared this link right here. That is a grizzly bear right there. And you can tell because they have the big old hump on their back and the shape of their face. Yeah, maybe I'll say for another time, how do I know these things? Because I do spend time in the outdoors, but that's how you can tell the difference between like a grizzly bear and a brown bear or a black bear. Not just the color, but the shape of their face and their body. But
That's right.
to put it in perspective, a grizzly bear can run, okay, 1.6, I'll have that, over 40 kilometers an hour.
Yeah, you're not outrunning a grizzly bear.
No.
No. You know what's interesting? So I'm just looking at who is it? As I said, Elizabeth is saying, you know, that person that's running around with that board. That board that's a light board, so it reflects light, and you can reflect it back on the whatever you're taking a picture of. But you're right, he is laughing, right? Brett is pretty much written off the guy with the camera. It's good. You know, so Chase, Ken, can I talk to you about this picture now? Do you think we've given him enough time? So Chase, I like what you're saying there. You're saying the only thing is that National Geographic is a reputable company, right? It's a reputable source. So how could it be fake? Well, Chase, I put that National Geographic logo on this picture. I did that. I did. So,
you just got called out.
He caught me. That's exactly right. That's right. I did. I just went and I found it, and it didn't stand out, so I just put a little bit of like a blurry background behind it, and then I made up that story about it coming from National Geographic. I made that story up when I told it to you, and it's you know, it's amazing, right, when we look at that. But Ken, you know, I think you're the one who shared this next part with me here. That bear, that's on the right is the actual image of the bear. And what somebody did is they took that bear out of that actual image on the right and flipped it over to make it look like this, right? So it looks like that. That's what the bear is. So the bear is fake as well. Do you know that in 2015, this picture went around the world and went viral because of all the reasons you say it's real and all the reasons you say it's not. When people look at these images and they have conversations about it like we are right now, these images go viral. And it's really interesting. So remember that think about it I shared with you up here. It's this one at the very start. Learning to be a responsible consumer, lateral reading upstream, and then of course using this CRAAP test that about, you know, where is the source coming from? Is it a reputable source? A lot of these things that you're already saying. So we've given you some resources here on how to look at images like this, and what can you do? What can you do every time you see something online that maybe makes you wonder if it's real or not, right? So some good skills you've already have, and we're helping you try to develop some more. Great. All right, Ken, should we move on a little bit about some advertising? All right. So I think I shared a minute ago about, when before I became a teacher, I worked in television, and my job in television was to make commercials. And when I made commercials for television, I learned when I went to school for it, when I went to university for it, all the tricks that you needed to use to make people believe that what you're doing is real. And in television, there's a lot of techniques that we use out there to make people believe something that may or may not have happened. And it's somebody who went to university and worked in the business, it's all very obvious to me. When I watch any video, I often can see the mistakes or I can see the tricks, but it's not always. I'm not that good at it. And so what we want to do is just talk to you about a few of the things that we see out there. And we want you to be able to identify ads, clickbait, and fake news. We want you to be able to look at these things. Fake news is kind of like this picture we're looking at with this bear. So first thing we'll do is we'll just talk about advertising, right? Advertising is everywhere. Those of you who are on TikTok, you know Zach King. You ever seen this guy's stuff? Raise your hand if you've seen Zach King's stuff on the internet. Yep, a few of you. Yeah, he's great, right? It's so good. It's so fun, right? There's so many cool things out there. Thanks, everyone. And Zach King has done some really great stuff. Well, what you're looking at here is an advertisement for Mercedes-Benz, the car. And when you're looking at these, you can't really see it in this image because I had to make it small. But in the hashtags on this ad, you might maybe see hashtag ad, right? You might just actually see where it says ad, right? It's just, and all he does is simply just puts that. Thanks, Ken. I just did it too. And you might just be like, oh, this is so fun, but you're really being sold a commercial. Okay. So we want you to learn to look for those things. So the next one I'll show you is this one. You know, this guy from Stranger Things. Anybody watch Netflix, the show Stranger Things? There you go. A few of you. Good. If you have access to Netflix, it's a really great, it's a very popular show. But you may know this actor from other things. But in this particular TikTok, this actor from Stranger Things is telling you about cereal from like Sour Patch Kids or something like that. You know, the candy Sour Patch Kids. And you might be able to look at this, and just down here it says paid partnership. You see where it says paid partnership? And that's right. And paid partnership is another way to know that this person is being paid to tell you how much they like this particular product. And I don't remember watching all of this, but it was just exactly the same thing, that this guy was selling you cereal. Really interesting. Yeah. But people, you're right, Ken. Ken is asking, how often do people take that moment to look at those captions? Most of us just keep scrolling. We like it. We give it a, we just give it a heart like or whatever we do, and we keep moving on. And so we want to remember, we want you to just always be looking at the hashtags, always be looking at, because sometimes when you look at your favorite creator, that's what I'll call them, people who make videos or things online, your media creator, you might just never really look. You might just be just like their stuff and keep moving. And what that ultimately does is help that person get paid. It also helps that company make more money. And so just be thinking about the hashtags. All right. Well, the next thing I want to show you is it's sort of disturbing to me, but I'll let you look at it next year. This is, what do you think these women have in common? What do you think these women on TikTok, and I think this is Instagram. What do you think these women on Instagram have in common? Take a look at it. What do you think these people have in common? Yeah, some people are saying, yep, they're all three verified, right? By those blue check marks. You're right. That's right. Some lots of people there. Yeah, good. They're verified. What does it mean? What does it verified mean? Does anybody want to explain that? What does it mean to be verified? And what do you need? That's good, Ken. What do you need to be verified? It's not it. That's not what I'm looking for, by the way, but it's a good thing to notice. It helps when you look at sources and that source is verified. It does make you think that it's real, right? It does make you think that it's real. Yep, that's good. Oaks is saying that that it makes that person that you're looking at is the real person, like a celebrity. Good. All right. I tell you what, I won't tell you quite yet. I want to show you more of these models. Okay, this is another model. This is Lucy. She's from Korea. Lucy's from Korea. This is an ad for Lucy. Or I guess a post from Lucy, who's obviously modeling clothes from somebody. Here's Lucy again. Another Instagram post. No, this is TikTok. Is that right? Is that TikTok? It is TikTok. All right, you ready for me to tell you what makes all these people the same? Good. Brett's saying they're influencers. You're right. They are. Actually, they are influencers. Yes, Sylvia nails it. They're fake. They're not even real people. They're not real people. They're fake images of people. They are robots, if you will. They're not really robots. They're digital people. They're not real. And so what's interesting is the person on the left is from the US, is from a marketing company in America, an advertising company in America. The person in the middle, Rosie, is from Korea, and the I think her name is Maga. I can't remember. I don't know her real name, but she's from Brazil. They're all digital people. They're not real people. They're just digital. This particular person, Lucy, and this is a real person with Lucy's face put on her. These are all fake. They're not real. This is Rosie's. This is what they said about Rosie, that this marketing company in Korea, they say we expect to easily reach $1.5 million in profit from the use of Rosie in their the use of Rosie in their marketing. There's an article here. I might be able to grab it for you because I think this is a really interesting article. There's an article in CNN talking about this. I'll put it here in the chat. This article from CNN talks about how kids your age, students your age, there's one person who wrote to Rosie, and Rosie responded to her, and they developed a friendship. So what we're trying to do, I know it's weird. I don't know. It's not me to judge that it's weird or not, but it does seem fake, right? It does seem a little bit fake. And it's the point of this is that we want to learn how to be more digitally or media literate. Just like we learned how to read a book, we need to learn how to read images. We need to learn how to read the stuff that we see on the internet, because that is the kind of stuff that will help us make sure that we're not sharing false information with our friends or sharing false information with other people. Now, I think you at school, you have a lot more your awareness of this stuff than maybe your parents do, or your auntie or your uncle. And what happens is that a lot of our parents and our relatives, they believe this stuff. And what we're trying to do is help you become media literate so you can help them and your friends be more aware of what's happening on the internet. Yeah, somebody's mentioning the Tom Cruise deep fake, right? Do you know what a deep fake is? Is where they take, just like this, they take a graphic images of somebody's face and they put it on the body, and they make that person say and do things they didn't say, right? That's called a deep fake. And now we're seeing that more and more all the time. We just need to learn how to be better at it. That's all. We're not trying to scare you. We're just trying to help you. All right. I'll kick it back over to you, Ken. You would talk about some developing more.
So yeah. So before we shift over to the next thing, real quick, I did drop in the chat Instagram's policies around verification. If you all notice, I'll scroll back up. Your account must represent a well-known, highly searched for person, brand, or entity. We usually associate with people, but you notice it can be a brand or an entity. In this case, it's a marketing company. Your account must be public, have a bio, profile, photo, and at least one post. So this meets all those standards. So that's the whole idea around, just because it has that check doesn't mean it's a real person that has been verified to be who they, in fact, they say that they are. And so it's important for us to be mindful of that. And what I want to do next is the following. So you all have access to this also in your Google Classroom. And it's the whole idea. Jim, if you don't mind, will you, since you're sharing your screen, will you pull up the think about it for the two different types of information? Yeah, so really what we want you all to really start to think about is, as you look at the representations you saw the video with the snowboarder, you saw the still image with the photography crew, and then now you saw screenshots from Instagram accounts. The question to begin to ask yourself is, what type of information is being shared? Who's sharing it? Why are they sharing it? And what does it mean for me? And so the whole idea around that is to look at those two different types of information. And the goal that Jim and I have for all of you is to develop some of the language around these things. So for now, we're going to look at those two different things, which are misinformation and disinformation. So they're defined as the following. Misinformation is false information that's spread without any intent to deceive or trick people. So the whole idea around that is we're sharing information, and we're really not trying to trick you. It's just information we're sharing. And that's sometimes what you find in the word is called satire. So the whole idea is, it could be something like, man goes to the moon and comes back all in a day, about between breakfast and dinner. Okay, that's the joke. It's not meant to deceive or trick you. There is, in some cases, information that is intentionally meant to mislead, deceive, and is manipulated. And that's when you can get into disinformation. So the question I have for you all, based on those two representations, if that company, Woolshed, intentionally did videos to see what will go viral, do you all believe that was misinformation or that was disinformation?
That's a good question, right? What's are those viral videos misinformation or disinformation?
Jim, can you scroll down so they can see both definitions? Let's apply understanding. Yeah.
So there's misinformation right here. You think it's true, but it's not true. False information that catches on. And then disinformation is here. You know it's not true, but you share it anyways. False information that's spread on purpose and always intended to persuade somebody to think or do something.
Bingo. So that's why those of you that put disinformation, yeah, I think that was disinformation. There was an intent to mislead. That's why they wanted to see what it takes to make a video go viral.
Yeah, that's right.
So the next question is to ask you all real quick. I know we're running short on time. Is to consider the following in the Jamboard. Based on what we just did and then the two definitions, what are some of your thoughts around misinformation and disinformation? Remember, misinformation, information that is not deliberately meant to deceive or trick. Disinformation is information that is deliberately meant to mislead, manipulate, or trick.
Yeah, misinformation is, not intended, without intent. Disinformation is intended, deliberate. So I'm going to go jump over.
You all easily this way. Hold on. There. Hopefully that helps too.
Yeah, that's a good way to phrase it, Ken. Yeah, that often in school when we spread rumors that we think are true, but we talk about somebody, that's misinformation, right? we say something
Yeah,
about somebody
because you
that might
believe it
not
to be true, but you're not trying to sleep.
That's
The
right.
person who starts that rumor,
That's disinformation. There's somebody doing that deliberately.
and the person who takes some truth and adds their own part to cause harm is when we get into malinformation. But we're only doing mis and dis for now.
Yeah, when they want to cause harm, it gets a little bit worse, doesn't it? Ken, do you remember this picture? This is an image that
Yeah, you all take a look at this. I sent this to Jim. This was trending on Twitter a few days ago.
Yeah, July 27th. So it was only last week.
Yeah. Mis or disinformation?
Yeah, this is an interesting one. We just took it right from Twitter last week. It's one of the two, right? It's one of the two. It's definitely not real. Like this person put something out there that's not true. This is not a real situation. This is not actually, a Portland restaurant is actually not doing that.
Yeah, Chase put disinformation.
Hmm.
And if you all notice, which we will get into it the next time we're together, look at how many retweets and how many quote tweets and how many likes there are for this. Like I said, it was trending on Twitter.
21,000.
Do you have the follow-up post, Jim?
I do.
See that?
How proud he's very proud of himself for putting that out there, tricking people, right? This is so he's taking a picture of the trending section on his phone. And
if you'll notice, it says a satirical tweet discussing a fictional Portland restaurant with separate sections. I would actually argue that what he did, Brett said, I would have described that as taking the piss. Yeah.
That's right.
I would actually argue what he did is malinformation because there are people that will be harmed because of that.
Yeah, I think.
Okay.
Oh yeah, no, there you go. What we're seeing here is that this person was not only trying to spread misinformation. He was trying to spread disinformation, fake information, but he was trying to. I think, Ken, what you're saying is that he was trying to do it to hurt people. And I would agree with that. I think he was trying to hurt people.
Okay, malinformation is where you take something that's somewhat true and then you change the information with the intent to cause harm.
Yeah, that's right. So it's important to think about in this particular situation that what we're trying to share with you here is that when we see things on the internet, we need to be looking at certain things about this. Like there's certain things like in this image right here, breaking. Like when you see breaking, that means like, oh, I'm the first one to talk about it. And that is a sign that maybe we're looking at something that needs to be checked. We need to check this against sources. We saw you talk about that before, right? And you're right, in all caps. And so what does that sort of connect us to? The clickbait, right? Clickbait. I want to look at this. I want to click on this. When somebody shares that with me, I want to open it. I want to read it. And when we do that, that is ultimately clickbait. That's causing us to click more and get us to share that kind of stuff. And it's that's what we're trying to stop you from doing, is being able to share out or look at those things more critically. So as you're doing this, it's important to remember we're trying to help you build your vocabulary. We're trying to help you build your vocabulary. And so we've added this media literacy terms to know. Okay, there we go. Maybe I'm back. These media literacy terms to know. There's a definition of clickbait here. There's definitions of all sorts of deep fake. We've talked about misinformation and disinformation. We want you to learn those words because that's going to help you. That's going to help you read or talk about it more accurately with your peers, with your friends, and of course the adults in your life. You know, you could be, you know, Auntie, that's misinformation, right? Like you're sharing misinformation. I don't think you're being responsible, right? You could use those words and then help people to make the right choices. Yeah, these documents are all inside here in your Google Classroom and also in the student workbook. The student workbook is here, and that all those things are in here, and they're also here in this Google Classroom. And we can put all that back into the chat. Maybe some of you joined us a little bit late and you missed some of the links. We'll put all these links back in the chat, and we'll also share them back out to your teachers as well.
Jim, I got to point out, I'm going to put a brilliant question in there. And it's something that I think we should save for the next time for time's sake, but we should definitely put it in the Google Classroom. What about disinformation, but it is spread for good? So I guess the question for you all is it possible to intentionally deceive or mislead folks, an audience, and have it be good? Is that possible?
Yeah, the first thing I would think, and obviously we can't talk about it right now because we're almost out of time, but I would wonder, is it good for everyone? Is it good for everyone? You know, and that would be probably my first real question. And you know, anyways, I just now I'm backing out of that, what I just said too. Good. So what we want you to do for the first project in the, you know, between now and the next time we meet, we're interested in you exploring a project about your own social media and knowing what people say about you. And so we know that there are students here from Australia, and we know there are students there from Papua New Guinea, and we want to make sure, we want you to help share accounts, you know, TikTok accounts or Instagram accounts or Twitter accounts that are where people say accurate things about you. But for example, when I tell my family I live in Australia, the first thing they wonder is, do I fight crocodiles and do I ride on kangaroos? That's what they always say. They're always like, how many kangaroos have you ridden? You know, and that is like, I don't know where they got that from, but somebody made them think that. And so what I always share back to them is what I always share back to them is accounts that they can follow they're a real representation of what it's like to live in Australia. So I follow accounts of Americans who live in Australia because I like to see what they say about what they think is going on here. And so what we're looking for you to do is share, you know, turn it into us, and accounts that are an accurate representation of you in Australia or in Papua New Guinea. You know, we want to know. So have you seen accounts like that? Have you seen accounts that are accurate? Maybe it's your account, like of your own life, or are there TikTok accounts or things that of people sharing what it's really like to live where you live? What we're trying to do, Ken, in this situation is get rid of misinformation about who we are as a people. It doesn't just have to be you in your country. It could be you in how you identify, or you in the, you know, the town that you, or the city that you live in, or you know, something in that around that. It doesn't just have to be you in your country. It could be you and how you identify as, you know, maybe the community of people that you live with or associate with. Does that make sense? We're looking for you to help us make those connections. We want to be able to follow along with those people. We want to follow along so we can get a better picture of what it's like to live in Australia or what it's like to live in PNG. All right. So that's what's on. That's what we're asking you to do. You can see that listed there in the Google Classroom, and of course, this is also in your downloads. So if you only are now seeing the, if you're not online or you're not in the Google Classroom, you can get this. It's all in your workbooks. Okay, these
Jim, I want to say thank you. I've got to try to get some rest. Hey, thank you all very much. I'll post in the classroom and we'll catch up. Thank you.
It's very late for Ken. It's almost midnight for Ken. Thanks, Ken, for joining us.
Yes.
It's a pleasure. It's always good.
Nice work, everybody. Nice work.
Ciao. All right, so we'll give you some time. Thanks, Ken. We'll give you some time to ask questions about the project. We'll see everybody in the next in a couple weeks, but we want to make sure that you know what your project is, and we hope that you can share that back with us in the Google Classroom. But that brings us right up to the end, to the time, and so feel free to stick around and ask questions. You can unmute yourself and ask questions of me and any of the folks that are joining us from part of the program. But if not, thank you for joining us. We'll see you. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. Thanks for being part of this, and thanks for everyone sharing into the chat. It's such a pleasure to see what you're already doing out there.